slide, please. All right, there we are. Now we got the right slide deck going. So my apologies to everyone. However, hopefully you'll learn that I tried to do this. I thought I had it set up right, and I did. I just didn't have the right set of slides put in where it needed to be. So practice, practice, practice. And there we are. So let's just stop for a moment and have a word of prayer. Almighty God, we ask that you'll go before us this night. We ask that you will encourage our hearts, be with the Minor family tonight and their needs. I pray for each one on this call and any specific needs that they or their loved ones may have. And I ask that you'll minister to them and meet their needs as well. And I pray that you'll give us a good time of conversation this evening as I share some things with everyone and as we have a time to interact together. We invoke thy blessing upon us and ask for your wisdom and guidance in your most holy name. Amen. All right, here's what now that I've taken more of your time than I wanted to with getting this all set up, here's what I want to do this evening in our agenda. We'll have some comments on Passover and Holy Week. We're going to give an update on the status of 80-1. We're going to talk about the appointment of character development instructor to our national staff. And we're going to talk about new missions that are on the horizon. We are working them, and we want you to be praying with us about them. And then I'm going to throw it open to a Q&A time so that you can ask any questions that you would like. And so we will press on to the next slide, please. Tomorrow we begin Passover for our Jewish members, and then Sunday we will be beginning what is called the Holy Week in the Christian Church. And as we look at these two significant times in the lives of our Jewish and Christian members, we would ask that we would uphold each other in prayer. These are very special times, and with the Passover and the remembrance of God's faithfulness to the children of Israel, and with the Holy Week as the Christian church remembers God's faithfulness to the Christian church and world as well. We want to just take these times to remember. We want to take these times to be thankful, and to our Jewish fellow members and members of our chaplain family, we would, as well as our Civil Air Patrol family, we would say, have a blessed Passover. And to those who will be celebrating in the Holy Week, may you have, from our Christian faith traditions, have a blessed Holy Week as well. It's a privilege to be able to uphold one another and to honor one another during these very special times. Next slide, please. You've been praying about the 80-1, our new regulation, and it has gone through years of work and different iterations, and we had submitted it to be reviewed, and it has come back for some final tweaking, and then it's going to go back out. Since it's been so long, it's going back out to have concurrence from the rest of the leadership across the nation with folk as they look at our regulation. And then we will have the opportunity to answer any questions that may come back to us. And then finally, when those questions are taken care of, we will be submitting all of that back for the final round. Our goal is to see this done in the very near future. And so please be praying with us about this. I am the third chief of chaplains to work on this. It is if I remember correctly, at least 5-6 years that we have been working on this regulation to get it pulled together and get it done correctly. And I think it's going to be something that is very well suits our core, and it's going to incorporate some of these new things we'll be talking about, and it's going to be ready to go. And there will be the 40-80 will be submitted also, so that when the 80-1 is done, the 40-80 will be coming immediately behind it, so that the 40-80 is the educational tool that will help you follow through with all of the activities that are dealt with in the regulation. That will be a large document, so don't be discouraged. You aren't going to have to do it all at once, but it will incorporate all of the different stages of what the chaplains and character development instructors need to be walking through, and that 40-80 will be a very beneficial document for all of us. And so I look in the Q&A time, we'll look forward to trying to answer any of your questions about any of the topics that we bring up tonight. Next slide, please. Character development instructors. One of the things that I have been wanting to do is to help the character development instructors understand and see that we believe and our team believes that they are an integral part of the chaplain corps. And I think you know that, but I want to be doing some specific things to help you see that we mean that. So the duty title of character development instructor will remain in the local units according to the new regulation. One of the things that came back to us as the regulation went forward was the idea of it's a lot smoother and a lot easier to understand if we use the Chaplain Support Specialist nomenclature for those who are in the emergency services rating. That'll be an emergency services rating. Any character development instructor who chooses to go into emergency services has the right to do that, and they can become a chaplain support specialist, but that title will only be used in the emergency service rated area. Character development instructors will stay the title used for all other CDIs who are working and teaching character development. Some folk only want to teach character development. That's fine. It's just like some chaplains. They don't want to go into emergency services. They want to just work with this local unit. That's perfectly fine as well. We're giving you opportunities, but to help people understand who's what and where, we're making those distinctions, and to help the people understand what's happening there. The duties of these positions are distinct. They'll not overlap, but you'll be able to participate. As I said, character development instructors are the ones who can go on to become chaplain support specialists. You cannot be a chaplain support specialist if you are not a character development instructor. But not every character development instructor is required to become a chaplain support specialist. Now, to show you how much I am involved with the idea of having a character development instructor as a part of my staff, when the new 80-1 comes out, there will be a change on the Chief of Chaplains staff, and the Chief of Chaplains will appoint a character development instructor to the executive committee as a member of my staff. And so I have already made that decision. I have selected Lieutenant Colonel Shirley Rodriguez. I met her back in 1997 when I was Chief of Chaplains the first time. She was in the Kansas wing then. She's now in the Florida wing, and she's got an ADY to my staff so that I can start getting the input of a CDI as the 80-1 has been written so that we can have that input. We've had an individual who has been a special assistant to the chief down through the years as a character, a CDI. But now we're bringing somebody onto my staff, and they will participate across the board in all of the decisions that our staff makes, and will be a voting member of the executive committee, and also be on all the committees that our teams are working on. So that's what's happening in the character development instructor. Next slide. We have some new missions that we're developing. We've already talked to you a little bit about the Veterans Administration. We have got our MOA going back and forth. That's with the VA legal department, and our legal department has looked at it. Now we're coming very, very close to being able to have this mission successfully integrated into the mission of our chaplain corps. What's going to happen there is chaplains will be conducting gravesite military honors for veterans that need a clergy at national cemeteries. Now, this is important that you understand. All participating CAP chaplains are to be trained to United States Air Force Chaplain Corps College initial standards with a 3-hour course of training with a practicum via the CAP Chaplain Corps College. The 3-hour course of training is the exact same course of training that brand new active duty, reserve, and guard chaplains receive from the Air Force Chaplain Corps College out of Air University at Maxwell. We will be trained to that same standard. We will be trained by our own CAP chaplains, but they are chaplains who have been active duty chaplains. Some of them are retired, and some of them have served a tour of duty and then gone on. But the reality is we are using our personnel, and we have a tremendous team of people that are set up and have this all put together. Chaplain Tillery is the director of this course, and he and his people are doing an excellent job. Chaplain Tillery is a retired Air Force chaplain. His last duty stations were at the Air Force Academy and teaching at the Air Force Chaplain Corps College. So he's highly qualified to be developing and working this program with us. Now, any CAP chaplain can take this course. All of our chaplains, whether you're, that includes our waiver chaplains. So all chaplains can take this course. The requesting agency determines what uniforms worn and things along those lines. But we have everybody qualified so that if they say, for instance, if the VA says, we want you in a business suit, or we want you in your clerics, or we want you in a uniform, well, any of our chaplains can meet those qualifications. And so we want you all trained accordingly. And like I say, the requesting agency will determine what uniform can be worn. The VA has already said they will take any of those uniforms. The chaplains will be administered by a one WMERS mission. It's going to be developed so that there's one WMERS mission, and we have one chaplain who will be administering that mission. If you're selected to do a funeral, you will contact the chaplain administrator for the WMERS mission, and all of the requesting will come in. It'll go through the normal requesting processes. It'll go into the WMERS, and you will be authorized to do the mission. So that's how the VA mission is coming. And that, I am hoping, is going to come very, very soon. Now, I'm giving you this information, but I'm giving you information so that you understand what we're doing, and you can be praying, but I'm not ready for us to put it in the newspaper, okay? So this is a family matter. We are family. So I'm asking you to keep your comments in the family. And so I know that can be a challenge, but I know that you're up to it. And what we're doing is sharing with you prospective missions, as it said, missions that are being developed. We're not ready to go out and put this into any newspapers or any kind of sharing in any kind of social media. We're having a family time, folks. And so I appreciate you understanding that. Another new mission that we are working on is to support the Air Force and the ROTC units and the Holm Center. This is chaplains will be trained to USA Air Force Chaplain Corps College standards via a 23-hour course taught by the new CAP Chaplain Corps College, the Auxiliary Chaplain course. The ROTC is looking for chaplains that could work in their units. We've been talking with them. We're very excited about the opportunity. Just like emergency services, there are chaplains who think, I don't know if I'm comfortable going onto a college campus and working with ROTC cadets, but I don't have a problem doing emergency services. Well, that's fine. If you're a chaplain that is interested in having a ministry to ROTC cadets and having the opportunity to go in and help them, that's fine. As we get more information on which units are looking for somebody, once this is all completed and missions are all ready to be announced, the chaplain will be able to contact the administrative person who will be running this mission, and they will have a list of the units and the locations of the colleges around the country that want a chaplain to come in, and we will do our best to connect chaplains in those areas to those ROTC units. So this is another exciting opportunity. And then a third mission, exciting opportunity, I am currently developing a relationship with the United States Air Force Reserve Command. And what we are looking at doing, we're doing a lot of talking about where we want to go, how we want to do things. We're talking about the possibility of having reserve chaplains filling chaplaincy slots in CAP units, and the reserve, if you're a CAP chaplain who's interested in getting into the reserve being able to communicate directly with you in those opportunities. So that's a two-way street where, again, this is something that is being talked about. It's not, again, not ready to go public. So we appreciate you understanding that and just recognizing that we are trying to develop more ways to help you have a ministry that will impact as many people as possible through your Civil Air Patrol ministry. Now, in any of those situations, we are still looking and still developing the concept of the chaplain support team. That's not going to be just something that is seen only in emergency services. I believe very strongly that a chaplain support team made up of a CDI and a chaplain will have the most effective ministry, the most effective impact on a unit. So CDIs, as we are developing these programs, in the back of my mind is how we can do this as a chaplain support team. So I've used that language, and there's a fourth field that just today, I was involved with the Ops Center, and I'm not at liberty to go any further than that, but we talked about another option and another ministry for our chaplain corps, and I wrote it in with the idea of chaplain support teams. so that if this ministry, if we get this avenue of service open to us, it will be the idea that we could serve together, chaplain and character development instructor in a team, and having that opportunity and impact in specific areas that once I'm able to give you more information, I'll be happy to do that. So that's a little bit about what's been happening since I talked to you last. The next slide says Q&A. What questions do you have? And so, Jeff, I'm going to ask you to watch the chat, please. I see there are some things already in the chat. So I will open up my side of the chat and let's see where I'm at here.
There's only one question waiting for you, sir. Will ROTC include high school?
Not at this time, as I am working primarily on the ROTC from the Holm Center. That would be on the college level at this point.
Next question. Will former military chaplains need to take these trainings?
No, because you should have had those trainings, especially if you're Air Force. We are working on getting the full basic course for Air Force chaplains so that we can use that. So if you're former military, I think what we will ask you to do, the fact that you're former military should do it, but if you have any credential that shows that you've taken these classes, which obviously you have, we're still working on how we're going to pull that all together for you. But no, if you're former military, I do not believe you will have to take this training. Now, you're welcome to take it for a review. If you've been out for a while and you would like to do it again, you're more than happy to come in and take it for review. Oh, now they're coming in. Standby.
Okay. As a CDI who graduated chess, should I go by the title of CDI or Chaplain Support Specialist?
You are a CDI as you're working in your squadrons. When you are working in the emergency services arena, you go out on a mission, you will use the title Chaplain Support Specialist.
Okay, will this change how a CDI goes through their ratings, tech, senior, and master? And that is actually, yes, that's going to be changing. That's the 40-80 that Chaplain Murdoch is going to be talking about.
Yeah, when the 40-80 comes out and the new regulation comes out, all of that will be explained. I'm not going to open that door tonight because the 80-1 hasn't been completed and it hasn't been approved. So until it is, there still could be some changes to the 80-1, which may have to be reflected in the 40-80. So, but once the 80-1 is complete, all of the new information will be in the 40-80, and we will help you walk through that. There will be some changes. I do not see them as significant, i.e. starting all over. I don't see that happening at all, but I do think there will be some changes, but we will help you walk through that.
Okay, next question. Would we be contacted for a graveside service, then enter that into WIMMERS?
All right, just a second.
That would be for VA or Air Force or military. And yes, that's how WIMMERS works.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We will be notified if, as I understand the way it happens, we will be contacted by either the VA or one of the branches of the military. We will find out where they're at. We will then notify a chaplain in that area who's available. and then you will need to put that into WIMMERS, as I understand that correctly. And for instance, the VA is more lenient on what uniform or clothing you can wear, but the military may say, no, we want a Class A uniform. So then that would limit who we can use. But then you would be responsible to get it into WIMMERS.
Okay, the next question is the current status of applications for both CDIs and chaplains.
Okay. We are working applications as they come across the desk. I think we had one just recently that we turned around in about 8 to 12 hours from the time that I received it on my desk. So applications are being worked. Kenya is able to get into the office on every other Friday again. And during that time, she has been able to update. For instance, the application has been approved and you've been notified that your application was approved for either CDI or chaplain, but you haven't got any of the certificates and things like that. That's because she has not been able to get into the office to do that. We were able to do the applications electronically. Now she's been able to get into the office. She is getting caught up on sending out those certificates. So you should be seeing things in the near future. Obviously, if you just were notified that your application being approved, it'll still be a little while for you to get your certificates because she's going all the way back and working her way forward. But we're anticipating that being up to speed and updated very quickly.
Next
Again,
question.
I would say if you are a chaplain and you have somebody in your unit, a chaplain that's applying or a CDI, but especially chaplains, if your endorser or your academic institutions have secure email servers, they can send that directly to us. Other than that will save time. Sometimes with the mail services, if they send a hard copy, we have to wait for it to show up. And then we have to wait. If it comes in on Friday night after Kenya has left, it's going to be 2 weeks before she can get back into the office to look at applications. Where if they're sent electronically, those materials, that helps us deal with the applications much faster. So the status is we are working them as they come to our desk. But for chaplains, please understand the two things we have no control over are getting your 2088 from your endorser and getting your transcripts from the school where you are. Now, if you've graduated and you haven't paid your school bill, there are some schools that won't release transcripts till their school bills are paid. That also adds another layer of challenge for everybody. But that's how that's being worked. And we are currently, I am not aware of any application that is in the committee that reviews them waiting to come to me. Everything that's been reviewed has come to my desk. I've approved it and we've moved it forward. And once it comes from me, I send it back and it goes to, my approval goes to personnel, and personnel then gets it into e-services and everything else.
Okay, let's see. Next question was, if appointed to ROTC unit, will there be a chaplain's assistant?
Good question. I'm not that far down the road on that. So I believe, Richard, Chaplain Nelson, if you would put that in an email, I'll make sure that question is asked as we work our way through that process.
Okay, Roger Gilming has his hand up, so maybe he could unmute and ask the question. Okay, Roger, are you there? Don't hear.
Yes, I am. But I did it accidentally, so I.
Oh, okay, thank you, sir.
He's waving at us.
Hi, Roger. What about services done at regular cemeteries? I did a graveside service with Air Force for CAP Air Force veteran locally. So the VA, will the VA request chaplains for local cemeteries as well as national cemeteries, is another way of asking the question.
Yeah. If we're going through the VA, anytime that a military honor guard or chaplain is requested, that I believe goes through the VA or through the local base. And if you're asked to do that, my recommendation is submit that to us so that we can help you get credit for that in the WIMMERS activities. So yes, there are times that there are obviously there are graveside services for veterans that are not at a veterans a VA cemetery. It could be at a national cemetery. It could be at, well, most of the national cemeteries, the VA is involved there as well, if I remember correctly. But let's say it's at a cemetery, just a non-military cemetery in your area. They do military burials there all the time. And if you're asked to support, I would just ask that you let us know so that we are aware, and we would encourage, in fact, I would like all of our chaplains to get into this course and take the course so that if you're asked to do that, you will know what to do and have that background. And so the goal is for every chaplain to take this course that we're giving through our chaplain corps colleges, through the auxiliary chaplain corps college for the VA, so that you have that military background, so that if you're asked to do something like what Jerry is talking about, then you can be comfortable in the fact that you have the training and the background that everybody else has. The only reason I say that is you don't know who's going to be at that cemetery. And if we make a mistake, we just want to make sure that we're all trained well, because this isn't the time that we want to add any kind of extra concern to families in their time of sorrow. So that's why we're asking everybody to take the training. And then, yes, once you've had the training, by all means, we want you to be used, and we want you to support the families and be able to do that. But then we also would like you to work it through even if the request doesn't come through the VA, just contact us so that we can get it into WIMMERS and make sure that there is that record of that support.
That is the last question in chat, sir.
All right, I have one here, I think. Maybe I don't. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Have I completely frustrated you?
Okay, do we have a date for training? Which training?
Are you talking about the VA training, Chaplain Nelson? yeah, VA. That we are training. We are going to start training that as soon as possible, so that as soon as the agreement is done, we can start putting people in the field. So what we will do is probably start with our military chaplains who are either retired or who have done a tour of duty and have already had the training. We will use them first just because they're trained, but then we are already have the information out to sign up for this training. So we're ready to start training right away. So a letter, an email went out from Chaplain Minor. Look at your emails. It went out from Chaplain Minors inviting people to get the paperwork done to become a member of that first class. And so we are looking at that first class membership as we speak. So please check your emails and look at that. And if you want to get that training, sign up, please.
Yes, sir. Chaplain Tillery here. If I could just say something.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, number one, I think this month's CDI character development was just wonderful, because as I'm looking at these prospective missions that we have coming up, I just want to thank you for your vision, because that vision is what's lifting these things off the ground, and I appreciate that. Special thanks to Chaplain Minor and Lieutenant Gann for his work as the registrar. We have 17 students, and the course will begin on April the 5th, and we're excited about that. We're ready to rock, and it's the military honors course. It's looking good.
That's great. All right. So, folks, the answer to the question is now. Today is the day. So respond. Chaplain Tillery, do you have a cap on how many students you're going to take the first round?
We have we stopped that on Tuesday, and that was just simply a matter of logistics, getting their information into Canvas at Air University. However, we will be running another course soon thereafter.
Okay, very fine. So, folks, a word to the wise is sufficient. So welcome to the 17 that are in the class. Thank you for that. Congratulations. Let's move forward and see where we go. And by the way, folks, I just want you to know, I'm not asking you to do anything that I'm not willing to do. And I've signed up for the class as well. So you're all going to get to see if I can figure out how to do this as well as each of you. So let's do our very best. I'm excited about sitting under the tutelage of Chaplain Tillery and his team, and this is going to be a great asset for our chaplain corps.
Another
Anyone
question sitting there, sir. Are there still openings for NISA for this summer?
Yes, and NISA is being NISA applications are being taken as we speak. Again, we want you to understand that we will be starting a course in April, and that course has already got all of the students are already in that course that will be doing the emergency services school. But then there will be NISA at Camp Atterbury in Indiana for those who are able to travel and get to Indiana. Just a word, our governor has stated that by the 6th of April, we will be completely open. Each county will have the opportunity, if they need to keep whatever mandates they want for their county. But as a state, by April 6th, we will be wide open. So that means you'll be able to travel in, we'll be able to do NISA if NISA from the national side of the house still is a go. So we will participate at NISA, and then there will be another online course given later in the fall, so that we're looking at a spring course, a summer course at NISA in person, and a fall course. And so that's what's happening with NISA. All right, I'm seeing another question.
It's more of a statement, sir.
Okay, at this time, I'm working on my strategic leadership module and will model and will include the graveside training as part of my objective for this assignment. Okay. All right, anyone else? Are you actually telling me that you're going to let a Baptist preacher close out early?
Yes, sir.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to know how pleased I am with your participation. I am excited to be your chief. I'm thrilled to have this opportunity. Ask you to please continue to uphold each other in prayer. This has been a long, hard year, and many of us either have been impacted by COVID or have had loved ones impacted by COVID. Some of our families have had loved ones pass away during this year. Some of our families have loved ones going through significant medical trials, even as we speak. And yet we have so much to be thankful for. And as we walk through this year together, we have the opportunity to intersect lies with truth at their points of greatest need. Just the fact that we show up makes a difference. I'm going to just share something with you. I don't know if I've shared this before. Well, I don't think we've had a meeting since this happened. I'm also a chaplain with the Indiana State Police and the Howard County Sheriff's Department. I was called out by the state police a couple of weeks ago to go to a house fire where 3 children perished in that fire.
Wow.
And I was then involved with the critical incident stress team that worked with the firefighters, the dispatchers, the police officers, walking through all of that. I had an officer come up to me and he called me by name and he said, "Do you remember me?" And I said, "Well, if you keep talking, I'll figure it out." And he said it was December 10th, 1993. I was involved in a situation where out on Strawtown Pike, and I said, "You're Officer so-and-so." I pulled his name right out. What happened then was some young people were out racing, and he tried to stop them on the back roads, and they turned their lights out, missed a curve, hit a tree, and killed everybody in the car. He said, "My sheriff asked me to talk to you." And he said, "I want you to know that I'm in law enforcement today because of what you did back then on that date. I'll never forget it." I hadn't seen him since then because I had moved out of that county to a different county. But interesting, here we are again involved. There were 3 young people in that car, and now this time there are 3 children. We're still working through all of that. So like I say, it's been tough, but the reality is we show up, and as we show up as a team, as we show up as an individual, we bring the presence of the holy. And that ministry of presence is so vitally important. And while we walk through difficulties ourselves, and while our family, as a Chaplain Corps family, has had members walk through difficult days this year, and there will be difficult days in the future, never forget, we are here to be able to give the presence of the holy and show there is a place for help, there is a place for comfort, and we have that wonderful privilege of being able to represent to others the fact that there's one who cares. And we bring God everywhere we go. So I encourage you to do that well and never forget who we work for. What a privilege to be chaplains. What a privilege to be character development instructors. What a privilege to team together and to impact lives with truth at their points of greatest need. Well, it's my time to inform you. It's not my time to preach, so I'm going to stop there. It is my time to encourage, though, and I would encourage each of us to do the very best that we can, and to be able to do so, get the training we have available, and then let's make a difference in the lives of our cadets, our seniors, and their families. And thank you for the privilege of allowing us to do it together. Well, have a good evening. Thank you to everyone. And